Some decisions happen in seconds, not with planning, not with thinking, not with time to consider what is right and what is wrong. Just a moment, a single, terrible moment where you see someone you love lying on the ground, not moving, and every instinct you have tells you one thing: do something. Do it now. Chris Corlett did something. He kicked a door down, and because of that, because of one decision made in pure desperation, he ended up standing in front of Judge Judy on national television being sued for the damage. What happened in that courtroom was not just about a door. It was about something much older than property damage. It was about what you owe the people around you when something goes terribly wrong, and whether doing nothing is ever truly an option. The night started as a celebration. Missy Labbuff had thrown herself a birthday party, not a small gathering, a real one. Rented tent, live band, open bar, food, guests. The kind of party that takes weeks to plan and hours to set up, and one moment to completely fall apart. Chris Corlett was there. He had come with his younger brother Matt and a few friends. The party had been going well, the way birthday parties do, when the music is good and the drinks are flowing, and nobody has any reason to think the night will end badly. But nights like that have a way of changing, not slowly, not with warning, instantly. Matt Corlett was not looking for trouble. He was standing near a group of people, talking, doing what you do at a party on a warm night when there is music and you are young and everything feels fine. Then he heard something, a confrontation, raised voices, the unmistakable sound of something about to go wrong. Matt turned around, not aggressively, not looking for a fight. He turned around the way decent people do when they hear trouble, with the intention of stopping it. He put his hands up. He said the words that people say when they are trying to make things calm down. "We don't want to fight. We're here for a birthday party. Nobody wants this." He turned his head, and that was when it happened. A fist connected with the side of his head. Matt went down. He hit the ground hard, the way people hit the ground when they do not expect it, when there is no time to brace, when the body simply collapses because the brain has been violently interrupted. He lay there, shaking, trying to get up, unable to. And then, as if the first blow was not enough, a boot connected with his face. Matt went still. Chris saw it happen, not clearly, not from close up, out of the corner of his eye, that peripheral flash that tells you something has gone wrong before your mind has fully processed what it was. He ran, across the yard, through the crowd, to where his brother was lying on the ground. Matt was not moving. Chris knelt beside him. In that moment, with his brother lying still in the grass at a birthday party on what was supposed to be a good night, Chris Corlett made a decision. He looked up. He found Missy Labbuff, the host, the person whose party this was, the person who was standing right there, and he said 3 words: "Call 911." What happened next is where this story becomes something more than a party gone wrong. Missy Labbuff looked at Matt. She looked at Chris, and she said no. Not in those words, but in effect, in the only way that matters, she said no. Give him a minute. He'll be fine. Chris looked at his brother. Matt was unconscious. He'd been punched in the head and kicked in the face by someone nobody knew, someone who had vanished into the crowd, someone whose name nobody was offering. He asked again, "Please call 911." Missy did not move. She stood there, at her own party, in her own yard, next to a man who was lying unconscious on her grass, and she did not call. There are moments in life when the rules stop mattering, when what is legal and what is right, and what is polite and what is expected, all collapse into one single thing: what needs to happen right now. Chris Corlett ran to the front door. It was locked. He did not knock, he did not wait, he did not look for another way in. He kicked the door, once. It came down, he went inside, he picked up the phone, he called 911. He came back outside to his brother. Matt was slowly regaining consciousness, confused, disoriented, afraid. He leaned down. "Matt, what do you need?" Matt looked up at him. "Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here." The ambulance came. The police came. And then Chris Corlett left the party with his brother, without waiting, without explaining, without thinking about what any of it would cost him later. He just got his brother out. The next morning, Matt went to the hospital. The doctor in urgent care looked at his chart, looked at his scans, and said something that Chris would not forget. Matt was very lucky to be alive. A CAT scan, a fractured certainty that what happened that night was not a misunderstanding, not an overreaction, not something to brush aside. It was serious. It had always been serious. And the woman who had been standing right there, who had looked at an unconscious man and decided to wait and see, was now suing Chris for the door. Judge Judy Scheindlin had seen thousands of cases in her career. Disputes over money, disputes over property, disputes over things that seemed large until you placed them next to what actually mattered. When the Corlett versus Labbuff case came before her, she read the file the night before. She already had questions. When the parties stepped forward that morning, she asked them simply, "Mr. Corlett, you are being sued for kicking down Miss Labbuff's door. Is that what this case is about?" Chris stood straight. "Yes, Your Honor, and I would do it 100 times. The courtroom stirred. Judge Judy looked at him. Then she looked at Missy. Missy Labbuff presented her case the way people present cases when they believe they are right, with confidence, with details, with the particular certainty of someone who has decided that property damage is property damage, regardless of why it happened. She described the door. She described the cost. She described how Chris had entered without permission, without warning, without regard for what belonged to her. Judge Judy listened. Then she asked one question. "Miss Labbuff, when Mr. Corlett asked you to call 911, what exactly did you see when you looked at his brother?" Missy paused. "He was getting up. He was standing up." Judge Judy's expression did not change. He had been punched in the face and kicked in the head. He was unconscious on the ground, and your assessment was that he did not need emergency services? Missy shifted. "I didn't think it was that serious." The courtroom had gone quiet in the way courtrooms go quiet when everyone in the room already knows what is coming. Judge Judy leaned forward. "Miss Labbuff, let me make sure I understand this. A man was assaulted at your party, on your property, by a guest you allowed in. He was punched. He was kicked in the head while he was on the ground. He was unconscious. His brother came to you, the host, and asked you to call for help, and you said, 'Wait.'" Missy opened her mouth. Judge Judy continued. "You said, 'Wait.' And because you said, 'Wait,' because you did nothing, this man had to kick your door down to get to a phone to call for help for his brother, who was lying unconscious in your yard." A long pause. "And now you want him to pay for the door?" Chris Corlett stood still. He had said what he came to say. He had told the truth the way people tell the truth when the truth is simple, when there is nothing to add and nothing to take away, and the facts speak exactly as clearly as they need to. Judge Judy looked at him. "Mr. Corlett, you said you would do it 100 times. "Yes, Your Honor." "Why?" Chris did not hesitate. "Because he's my brother. Because he was unconscious. Because nobody else was going to do anything. And because some things are more important than a door." Judge Judy looked down at her papers. When she looked up, her voice was quiet, not angry, just certain. When someone is unconscious, when someone has sustained a head injury, you do not know how serious it is. You do not know if they are going to be fine in a minute. You do not know if they are going to be fine at all. The only thing you know is that time matters, and that every second you spend deciding whether to act is a second that cannot be recovered. She turned to Missy. "You were the host of this party. You had a responsibility to the people on your property. When someone was hurt, seriously hurt on your property, you chose to wait." A pause. "This case is dismissed." Chris Corlett walked out of that courtroom into ordinary afternoon sunlight. No celebration, no relief particularly, just the quiet feeling of having been believed, of having stood up and told the truth and had someone look at it clearly and say, yes, that is what happened, that is what was right. Matt Corlett recovered. The assault charge, a Class 1 felony, remained open against the man who had hit him and kicked him while he was on the ground. Chris never regretted the door, not once, not for a single second, because some things are worth more than what they cost. And on a warm night, at a birthday party that was supposed to be a celebration, a door was one of them. Judge Judy had one final thing to say before the parties were excused. She looked at Missy Labbuff one last time, not in anger, not in contempt, just with the steady clarity of someone who has spent decades watching people make decisions and understanding exactly what those decisions say about them. When someone is hurt and someone asks you for help, the answer is never wait and see. The answer is never he'll probably be fine. The answer is you pick up the phone. Because if you are wrong and he is not fine, there is no door in the world worth the price of that mistake. The gavel came down. Quiet, final, certain. Some decisions happen in seconds. Chris Corlett made his on a warm night in someone else's yard, with his brother on the ground and nobody moving to help. He did not think about the door. He thought about Matt, and in Judge Judy's courtroom, in front of every camera in that room, that turned out to be exactly the right thing to think about.